This game is rated M for mature. Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta 2. So things are getting pretty hot in this episode. So in the previous episode, we discovered that we are here in Big Grid, 500 years later, or not later, before. I don't know where I got the later from. In any case, we are here during the Great War that was kind of alluded to in the first game, and maybe some in this game too, but it was definitely a big thing in the first game. During this running segment here, there are a couple chests off to the side over here, so once the kind of portion collapses there, that's when you want to head off to the left here and grab this one, as well as the one over here. Okay, and then jumping back up here will get us back on the path. Alright, so this beloved is back. One important thing to note about this like beloved that we keep on running into is that there are health gates in terms of how much you can damage it. So once you get to a certain point, like doing more damage doesn't really help you. So this kind of scripted segment. Like, it'll kind of dip the walkway that you're on into each side of lava. You know, obviously don't touch the lava, it's bad. No, I guess we actually do finish off this one. This is a bit finicky. Sometimes I've been able to just run off of it, like, and directly onto the beloved's body there, and, you know, it's fine. Other times I just kind of fall into the lava there. It's not that big of a penalty. It only does, like, 100 damage to you, but... you know, in that case, it did cost me the pure platinum on that rank, which is a bit unfortunate. There is a Gates of Hell entrance here, which I suppose we could use, since I think our next Moon Pearl is 50,000. So, you know, for once, I'm actually going into one of these.
Capitalism still has its place in hell. Let's do business.
Because I almost never go into these mid-level. So, we will buy ourselves one more of those. We are finally onto our last bar. There. That's all we're going to be able to buy for now, but hey, every little bit helps. Okay, so before moving forward here, there is a chest off to the left. This one's pretty easy to find. A little bit harder to find is the one that's actually down here, so if you kind of just jump down the ledge, you'll end up getting this one. So that has a broken witch heart in it. It's definitely worth getting, and honestly, you know, not really that much farther out of your way than the first chest is. Coming up here, we're going to have another running segment where we have to use, you know, Panther Within and act quickly. You can actually see right there's a statue to the left that has a chest on it. And you have to act fast if you want to... oop. That was a bit weird. You're going to want to act fast if you want to get that chest. So we do have ourselves a verse here first. Which has a Grace and Glory, which again are another set of enemies from the first game. And they're actually kind of hitting me quite a bit there. These guys are kind of, they're more dangerous than the Affinities and Applauds for sure. And particularly, you know, when they're together like that. Now, I don't think the game will ever throw like more than two of them at you at one time. Also, just kind of like jumping and staying away from me. You know, maybe he knows what his fate will inevitably be. That was definitely a little rough on the edges. Okay, so this is the segment where you'll need to act quickly, because this tower here is going to fall away. And once it does that, you have no chance of getting this chest up here. You'll either have to, you know, replay the stage, or I suppose you might be able to take a death. I'm not sure if the game checkpoints after that, but you know, as long as you act quickly, though, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And this puts us back on the main path here, so that will do it for all of the collectibles down here in the cavern area. There were actually quite a few. Off to the right, you know, pretty obvious chest. So grab that. And we have one last Muspelheim portal here before the end of the stage. So we will hit that up. Yeah, okay, so for this one, it's only using enemy arms, and, you know, of course, it features ones from the other, you know, the first game. So, we have some Durga Claw, or, yeah, I guess, well, they're not Durga, because that's actually the weapon from that game, so these are the angel arms that you would get from... Ow. Okay, you can let me go now. That's the one that you get from Grace and Glory, is you know, that weapon that is using. This bow here that I'm using is from the red variant of Applauds, and I think I'm actually just gonna scratch this one and try again. And so is the that kind of halberd that I was using before. This is not too difficult of the Muspelheim challenge. I just kind of was not doing so great and wanted to give it, you know, an actual better attempt there. So this one functions as a bow, so 3 uses and then you're done. So yeah, the red applauds right there can fly up into the air and kind of run away from you, but you know, you can't hide from me. The staff is particularly useful against the decorations there. All right, I'm gonna use that again. Ah, dang it! You're barely not dead. That's rude. Oh well. You know, that definitely could have been executed better. They give you plenty of time for this one, though. So finishing that actually completes another full witch heart for us, so only one more of those to go. We've got a nice little, you know, meeting area here, which then subsequently gets destroyed. Hey look, more lava. Oh look, that beloved that we saw earlier, who's somehow still not dead, even though we reduced his health to 0. Seems to be a recurring trend with enemies in this chapter. So, for the most part, I think his moveset is similar to the first game, although he does have 2 axes instead of 1, so that is, you know, a slight difference. Make sure that you keep your combo score up for this one. I think the game is pretty strict on that. Oh, wow, that was bad. I was, for some reason, not expecting the A prompt there for whatever reason, even though I do practice before these. So if you can, sometimes your Wicked Weaves will kind of get a little stunned, so that is definitely helpful. Alright, I'm ready this time. Yeah, that was a lot better. Alright, so should be kind of close to the end of the fight here. That would not be a pleasant way to go, I imagine. Well, I came up a little bit short on the combo, but otherwise that was pretty good. Definitely a lot better than my practice run went against that guy. So yeah, all in all, did pretty well on that one. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't consider this that hard of a chapter. I mean, it is decently long, but maybe it's just because I'm familiar with the Bayonetta 1 enemies that I don't find them quite as difficult. Like, I would consider Chapter 10 much more difficult than this. You know, it's just my opinion, but... And of course, you know, for beating this chapter, since we had a lot of the Bayonetta 1 enemies show up, you get a lot of tag climax verse cards for beating that chapter. Alright, let's see. What's our Halo count looking like? Not quite enough to buy anything else. We're currently sitting at about 13 minutes, so I think probably good to start this next chapter. Probably will not finish it in this episode. It's not the longest chapter, but you know, it's also not that short either. And what better way to make things feel like a war than, you know, giant mech suits. I think this entire level is going to be taking place in a mech suit, so I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. It also has some really great tracks in it. So the one that's playing right now is the Great War land battle. So there's a chest off to the right at the start, and then there's also a note here, a witch's ultimate weapon. At their peak, the secret arts of the Umbra witches had advanced to the point they would give even today's modern science a run for its money. Not many records remain of what the Umbra accomplished. Most were lost in the witch hunts of the past. There are, however, still many wall paintings depicting what the Umbra were capable of. On certain wall paintings, there are depictions of a gigantic jet black warrior the witches would call forth in the middle of their most desperate battles. I guess they would call it a robot. Still, it's not like the robots you see nowadays. These machines were like something straight out of a science fiction flick. Considering it's a heavily armored powered suit for the Umbra, I guess Umbran armor would be a good name for it, right? Similar to how the witches would control their infernal demons, Umbran armor is manipulated by connecting the witch's framework with a witch's hair, using it as a catalyst for the magic power needed to move the armor like it was their own hands and feet. Any witch that hopped into that iron suit could take down entire armies of angels in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that still wasn't enough to save their clan from elimination. Okay, moving on. There is a chest. I moved too far forward. Alright, well, I guess we're doing verse 1 here, and I hope that I can go back for that chest, because otherwise, you know, that would be very unfortunate having to go back for that, but at the very least, it'll be a relatively simple thing to show off. Now, one thing that you may have noticed about the Umbran armor here is that it has some ridiculous combo scores. You know, both because it racks up multiplier points really, really ridiculously fast, and you can see, you know, most of its main attacks are either doing like 100 or 200 points per. So you will get some pretty ridiculous combo scores in this stage. So that one was almost 800,000. Okay, cool. Looks like I can go back. So it's just before verse 1 there. Is this chest. And it has a broken witch heart in it, so, you know, definitely make sure that you grab that. But yeah, needless to say, this chapter is by far the best chapter for grinding Halos in the game. Because you will just get a ton of Halos from the fights that you do in this part. So for verse 2 here, we have some kinship, so, you know, enemies from the first game popping up. The first two you can take out before they have a chance to fire at you. The next ones, however, are incredibly rude and fire at you before you have a chance to attack them. So with those, you kind of have to know when to dodge, is the best advice that I can give you, because you will not see them attacking you before they actually get, you know, some of their attacks off. Oh, which happened to me in this situation, so just watch out for that. It's the best advice I can give. Unfortunately, it's a bit harder to dodge than I would like it to be. So here we have some Bayonetta 2 enemies, Urbane and Gravitas. One thing that I should point out about the Umbran armor here is that you do have the hold fire. So the punch hold fire is kind of, you know, the standard hold fire that you get for using, you know, Love is Blue, and the kick kind of functions like a shotgun, so it's kind of well, I took damage from the kinships earlier, so it's not like I was going to get a pure platinum on this anyways. But oh yeah, and I didn't do that great on time either. Like, they really expect you for some of these to know how to use the Umbran armor really effectively. Some of the timing requirements are pretty strict for these verses, but I don't think there are any weapons that have that kind of shotgun-like hold fire in this game. The one that I could point to in the first game were the Onyx Roses that function like that. So for now, I'm thinking this is probably going to be a good place to end this episode. It's going to be a bit of a shorter one, but at the same time, I don't want to go too much farther, because then, you know, the next episode will be really short too. I mean, it probably will still be on the shorter side, but in any case, just going to have fun, you know, doing donuts here in this this plaza. So thank you for watching this episode of Let's Play Bayonetta 2. I've been redxparasite, signing out.